Welcome back to another edition of a special edition where we give you a special coverage of the daily activities for the government and the latest happenings in Egypt. And as we know that we just witnessed the weekly meeting of the cabinet. His Excellency Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli met with, as usual, had a weekly meeting with the press and also several ministers. Among them was Dr. Rania Al-Mashat, where the Prime Minister talked about the activities of the week and the achievements that is witnessed by the government through the week. He talked about so many important topics like the partnership with the Korean firms and Korean companies and how the Korean industry and investment is blooming in Egypt. And he also talked about how during his meeting with several heads of state and the summits in the summit in Africa and the EU, how the whole world is looking with respect and grandeur to Egypt's achievement in Sharm el-Sheikh Peace Summit, where Egypt was able to effect almost impossible peace agreement between the Israeli occupation and the Palestinian resistance and save the Palestinians from the massacres. Also, the Prime Minister talked about the Egyptian-Chinese economic partnership in various domains and how is it expanding. And most importantly, Prime Minister Madbouli talked about Egypt and Algerian partnership and how it is moving to a whole new level after the visit of Prime Minister of Algeria to Egypt, where there was an agreement of establishing more industry that is worth billions of dollars. Where also he talked about the Egyptian investment in Algeria that is expanding year after year. He talked about the meeting between President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi and the CEO of the Italian company Eni, and the prosperous projects and agreements that were taken after the meeting of President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi and the president of Eni, or the CEO of Eni Italian company, where there was a lot of agreements signed to boost the joint investments in energy domains. And they also talked about the healthcare, they talked about the educational file and tourism after the inauguration of GEM, and so many other points. Are very delighted to be having with us over the phone Dr. Raouf Gaafar, the economic expert. Good afternoon, Dr. Gaafar.
Good afternoon to you, my dear.
How are you doing? So we have been observing the weekly meeting of the cabinet and the statements that were released by the Prime Minister, Dr. Mustafa Madbouli, that was followed by other statements of the weekly achievements of the cabinet and in particular the Ministry of Planning that is headed by Dr. Rania Al-Mashat. There were a lot of issues that were reflected to the viewers and the citizens. Let us start off by the meeting of President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi and the CEO of the Italian company Eni, and the very prosperous projects that are going to expand after this meeting.
Well, I mean, we know that Eni has been very active in Egypt for the last maybe decade and more, and they were the prime mover behind the Zohr and the discoveries of gas in the East Mediterranean zone, and they are still working closely with the Egyptian government to make more and more exploration. We know that this area is very rich in oil and gas, and Eni is one of the leaders, together with other, of course, companies, but Eni is known for its expertise in this field. And as I said, they have been exploring and they have been cooperating with the Egyptian government for some time. This will continue, and the visits that come from the high officials of this company means that they are still very interested and that they see a lot of prospects in this area. That's why they want to continue their close cooperation with the Egyptian government, of course.
Right, and also they talked about establishing more petroleum and oil wells in Zohr also zone. Also talking about the tourism venue that is going to move to a whole new level after the inauguration, the international inauguration and the saga that resulted from the inauguration of the Great Egyptian Museum, and how Prime Minister Madbouli, while he was sitting with world leaders, he saw the admiration and respect and glamour that was affected over the whole world after witnessing that particular museum, the biggest museum in the whole world. How do you expect the venues of tourism to flourish later on?
By the way, the GEM is not only the largest museum in the world, but it includes the most valuable treasures of the world, and was long awaited, the inauguration of this museum. And we can feel it has been inaugurated just a few weeks ago, and we can see that the number of visitors have reached levels that we've never seen, and I'm sure that this will reflect on the tourism in Egypt in general. But let me emphasize something: the tourism is one industry that has no ceiling. I mean, Egypt has all the infrastructure that we need for tourism, as far as beaches, as far as we're talking cultural, of course. When we're talking the Great Egyptian Museum, we're talking culture tourism. But in addition to the cultural tourism, we have a lot of leisure tourism, maybe medical, tourism. We have beaches that have no rival. So I mean, this industry is one industry that can reach great levels and can represent one of the most important income for Egypt. And the fact that the Great Egyptian Museum was inaugurated, as I said, it will reflect on the number of tourists coming to Egypt, and it will have a very big impact on the tourism in Egypt very shortly, inshallah.
Right. Also, the Prime Minister talked about his recent African visit, and he talked about attending the Group of 20 and the 7th African European Union Summit on behalf of President Abdel Fattah Sisi. He talked about how people have had a complete makeover, an impression over Egypt after the success that was effected in the Sharm el-Sheikh Peace Summit, where Egypt was able to achieve the impossible. And he talked also about the venues that are resulted from the economic reform program that reflected over the global economic world. If you like to shed light over this also.
Well, of course. I mean, the effort that was deployed to reach what we reached in the summit of Sharm el-Sheikh is again unprecedented, and this is the smallest award that Egypt deserved after all the effort it gave to the Palestinian crisis. And we sincerely hope that all the resolutions of resulting from this summit will see the light and will be implemented sooner rather than later. On the other hand, of course, it is again known to everybody that the quantity of projects regarding infrastructure that have been executed in Egypt to prepare and pave the road for development and investors to come in, and this is again unprecedented in anywhere else in this short time. And now we are ready, and we have seen investors coming from the east and the west joining hands and partnering with Egypt for different projects in different domains. And now you're talking Africa. Of course, Africa is the future. It is a young continent full of resources that have not been exploited the right way. And when Europe and the European Union look at Africa as the future prospective partner, means that they are interested to transfer their know-how, their technology, and establish new endeavors that can use the resources that are abundant in Africa for the benefit of the two, of course, continents, if you may say. Egypt being one of the oases of peace and stability and security in the Middle East, and is the door joining Europe to Africa, will play a very important role and vital role in the development of the continent of Africa, I mean, using, as I said, the know-how and the technology of coming from the European Union. So we are talking, hopefully, a very bright future for Egypt and for Africa, thanks to the cooperation with countries who are much more advanced, like Europe. And again, we should see not only Europe, I mean everywhere, but this comes within the context of the meeting between Europe and Africa. And we should see great results of this cooperation between our continent and Europe.
Also, there was a visit, an important visit by the Algerian Prime Minister to Egypt, and there was the memorandums of understanding agreement and renewing investment agreements also that were signed and upgraded. The Prime Minister focused over the investment partnership between Egypt and Algeria that is dating back to years and years, and he said that there is a big capacity of like around $1 billion investment, Algerian investment in Egypt, and 5 billion Egyptian investment in Algeria. And this mutual investment partnership is leading to prosperity between the two countries. If you like to elaborate.
Absolutely. First of all, this is not the first meeting. I mean, I think this is the 9th meeting that took place between the Egypt and Algeria, talking about different projects. Egypt has been investing in Algeria for long years, and Algeria is doing the same. They have spoken in a lot of domains. I mean, communications, transport, what have you. And I think that one of the things that were discussed, and hopefully they should be implemented very soon, is to tie the North Africa with railway, with highways, I mean, to make it easy for the trade to come and go. And these were among the files that were discussed between the two parties. Of course, Egypt has a lot of experience that can be given to as partners to Algeria, and Algeria can increase their investments in Egypt. I mean, the two countries are the biggest two countries in the north of Africa, and they should get closer and closer and higher up the level of cooperation to reach strategic levels and really make a difference to the north of Africa.
Right. At this point, I would like to thank you, Dr. Raouf Gaafar, the economic and political expert. I'd like to thank you so much for talking to us on Special Edition. You have a good evening.